Shalom. First and foremost, trying to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakahakodash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who ruled well and taught me this truth. Peace, blessings, salutations, and mercies to the elect and the one-third remnant out there listening and doing this word with all faith and sincerity, scattered amongst the nations and the four corners of the earth. To you I say shalom. Lord willing, this video is edifying. It's going to be centered around the article that you see on the screen, and it's by CNN, and it's entitled, Trump lashes out at Europe as growing number of allies reject U.S. calls for help. Okay, so these different U.S. allies are, they're not falling in place like they usually would, right? With the U.S.'s policies and the things in which the U.S. would normally push, they would accept. All right. But this operation in particular, the European nations, they're not trying to get involved because they understand the implications of this war. And they understand that this is something that could easily spiral out of control and that every single nation on earth will be affected by. Okay. And everybody's ultimately going to get drawn into it. Okay. This conflict, represents the beginning of the end, right? World War III. All right. And the more and longer it continues, the more it escalates and the more intense it gets and the more that's on the line. All right. So when you read in this article, pretty much states that NATO allies, they're willing to commit certain things like, munitions and such, but they're not willing to go and put bodies out there. Okay. And the U.S. has a problem with that. And this is just that division continuing to seep in. Okay. And that hate for America, is growing. Okay. And it's not necessarily in this article, I don't believe, but pretty much Italy rejected U.S. Planes from landing and refueling in their territory because of what, could happen in retaliation from Iran. All right. And they need they're trying to preserve themselves. Right. And the U.S., don't want to see that. But on the other hand, when you look at Trump, he's talking major shit. So, he's clearly double-minded. Okay. And this is all on display for the world to see. Okay. This is Isaiah 47 and 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon, sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Right. So come take a seat. Humble yourself. Okay. Because the longer this thing continues, the more the world gets to see the U.S. ain't what they thought it was. It ain't the big bad wolf that had the world in fear like it did, just a few short years ago. Okay. And just wait until they send ground troops and that slaughter really starts. Okay. And they start sending home them coffins. in the hundreds and in the thousands. All right. Then you're really going to lose allies. Then the way you're able to project power around the world really going to change. And that's what we're about to get ready to witness. Okay. This place be toppled. Okay. And its allies can see it. All right. And the more they press the issue, the more this place is separated from those who helped to get to the point in which we see now, or in which we are now, right? Scriptures say that the whore that sat upon the beast. Okay, so those NATO and European allies, they're the reason the U.S. has its hegemon like it does, because they all agreed, okay, to be a part of this coalition, so to speak, right? And together they're very formidable. But you know, when America's been separated from them, they're not the same. Okay, this is Mark 3:23. And he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And that's what we're saying. We're seeing divisions all across the board. I mean, even in this war, right? The U.S. had come out and say their objectives, and then their supposed ally, Israel, will come out and say their objectives. And it's two different things, right? So don't nobody really know what's going on, right? At this point, you know, how can you win a war where nobody knows the outcome and nobody knows why they're fighting? Okay, that's why, you know, this whole ordeal is nothing but a snare. Okay, it's a snare unto Esau. All right, he's about to get caught red-handed. You know, no pun intended. Okay, because this is going to usher in the mark of the beast. Okay, so things are moving quick. Okay, and the more he moves, the quicker he moves, the more everybody sees it, the more it's on display for the world to recognize. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end, right? And they're rising up against, this is infighting, okay? So this union is broken, okay? When you listen to what's coming out of, you know, these nations, right, including America, there's nothing to resolve the issues. They're name calling. Okay, it's almost like, you know, elementary school students, right, going at it, right, because Esau is a damn child, all right, because he's in straits. The Lord reverse Uno'd his ass, man. Okay. So now he's, you know, he's feeling it. He's feeling that heat, man. This is Revelations 17 and 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Right, these horns, right, these 10 heads, right, of these nations, right, these conglomerate of nations, because we know that the EU is more than just 10 nations, right? NATO is more than just was 7 heads, right? Because it's expanded, but you know, the most important players are side-eyeing this bitch, right? They see what's going on. Okay. And it's going to ultimately spill into actual bloodshed. And this place is going to be obliterated. Okay. It's going to be overthrown. Right. This is Isaiah 13 and 18. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity upon the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. Right. They're not going to give a fuck about the youth that's over here, or moms, or cattle, or nothing, silver, gold, nothing. They're all gonna come to the same conclusion and say, "Hey, man, let's get her out of here," right? And everything she represents. Okay. Don't think it's strange, man. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. Right. Okay. He rained fire from heaven. And that's exactly what's going to happen to America. Thermonuclear fire is going to rain from heaven and turn this place into a great lake of fire, man. Okay. The world's largest desert when it finishes burning. Right. So without the fall, praise and the glory to Yahweh, Shema, Shabbat, Shemba, Kakodash, Wa, Abba, Babal, and DTA, DTN.